The Roborock S7 is the greatest home automation product I have ever had the pleasure of using. I've always loved Roborock products. In fact, I previously made a video about my Roborock S5 Max. In that video, I fawned over how awesome it was to have a combination robot mop and vacuum cleaner, and how well it worked to keep my kitchen clean. Since then, I actually bought another S5 Max to use upstairs to keep the living room clean as well. I've scheduled both of these to do daily cleaning cycles, and it really has helped me keep the house super tidy. I saw that Roborock recently released a newer model, the S7 Plus, which has a lot more bells and whistles than the S5 Max. Unfortunately, there was no way my partner would be down with me buying a third robot vacuum cleaner for our house, so I never expected to be able to compare them for myself. Thankfully, Roborock saw my previous video and offered to send me the S7 Plus for free to test out on my channel. I've been using this in my kitchen and dining room for the past 3 weeks, and honestly, I didn't expect it to be so much better than the S5 Max. I don't normally do fully sponsored videos like this, but I'm just so impressed with the Roborock products that I jumped at the chance to explain to the world why I think they're so good. Let's take a deeper look.
Hey home automation guy. Start the show.
I have to say, at first glance, the S7 Plus looks very similar to the S5 Max. It has the same LiDAR spinning head at the top that it uses for navigation and object detection, and a similar looking sweeper. But I also noticed that it has a smaller water tank for storing the mopping water, and a slightly different brush design underneath. There is one massive difference though, and that is this optional giant base station which actually empties the vacuum cleaner bin when it gets full. I feel pretty lazy admitting this, but it really annoyed me every time I had to empty the dustbin on my S5 Max. In my mind, the whole point of having robots to do your chores is that they're set and forget. The S5 Max felt so needy as it needed to be topped up with water and have its bin emptied every couple of days. Removing the tank of the S5 Max always felt cumbersome. I could never get it to reattach itself first go. Well, these problems are both solved with the S7 Plus. Firstly, the water tank feels far easier to remove and reattach. And despite it being smaller than that of the S5 Max, I actually find that I need to refill it less often. I also never have to empty the dustbin because this giant contraption does it for me when it's full. When it's finished cleaning, the robot will park itself, and then it's going to suck the dust and rubbish from the dustbin into this contraption where there's a bag that collects it. The base station has a range of filters and anti-allergy certifications to prevent that dust getting back into the air and into your lungs. The bin gets emptied out the same way that the dust goes in, which is through the bottom brush area. I think this is why the brush has had a new design when compared to the previous Roborock vacuums. This new design also allows the brush to get closer to the floor, which actually improves the amount of dirt and dust that it can pick up on each run. Both the S5 Max and the S7 Plus seem to follow similar paths when vacuuming my kitchen and dining room, as you can see on these maps. But the S7 Plus does seem to collect more of the crumbs and dirt that I leave on the floor after cooking up a meal. The mopping abilities of the S7 Plus, however, are way above and beyond what the S5 Max can do. The S5 Max basically just drags a damp cloth behind itself and calls that mopping. It does a pretty good job of picking up extra dust or light amounts of spilled tea. Unfortunately, if you don't want it to mop, you need to physically remove the mopping attachment before you send it around to clean. And if you don't, it's just going to drag around that dirty cloth behind itself and probably mess up your freshly mopped floor. The mopping cloth sits flush on the floor, which meant that the S5 Max often got stuck on thick rugs or carpets. The S7 Plus has a ton of innovation in it that make all of these problems go away. Firstly, it uses sonic vibrations to move the mopping cloth back and forth 3,000 times a minute. I personally think they should have called it intense elbow grease mode, but whatever it is, it means that it can mop up dried stains far better than any other Roborock has before. You can even put the robot into a deep mop mode, which adjusts the pattern it follows so that it scrubs over the same place multiple times and gives it a more thorough mopping. This obviously means it takes a little bit longer, but it's the perfect thing to do after you've had a party and all your kitchen floors are sticky. But that's not all that Roborock have improved on the mopping side. Both the S5 Max and the S7 Plus have the ability to detect if it's on a carpet, and can then increase the suction power accordingly to give them a deep and thorough vacuuming. They also stop pushing water out through the mopping cloth so you don't end up soaking your carpets. The S7 Plus takes this one step further and actually lifts the mop up when it's on carpet, or when it's not mopping in general, so that it doesn't drag the dirty mop cloth around and allows it to get up onto the carpet without getting stuck. When it's not lifting the mop up, it uses this same mechanism to push the mop down into the floor so that it makes hard contact, which again helps improve its mopping abilities. How freaking cool is that? I've been using this in my kitchen for the past 3 weeks, and during that time the weather's been wet and there's often been mud dragged in on our shoes. We've also been cooking a lot of saucy winter comfort foods, which have inevitably slopped on the floor. The S7 Plus has taken all of this into its stride, and we have not vacuumed or mopped the old-fashioned way the entire time we've had it. But don't just take my word for it. There's an awesome YouTube channel called Vacuum Wars, where they put all sorts of robot vacuum cleaners through a series of tests to see how well they pick up dirt, sand, cereal, on all sorts of surfaces. They also test the mopping functions with coffee stains, dried syrup, and all sorts of other things. They try out all the Roborock vacuum cleaners, and the S7 Plus has come out on top in almost every test. I popped a link to the video in the description below, and I highly recommend that you check it out to see just how amazing it performs. The S5 Max and the S7 Plus both use the same mobile app, so they have the same set of features. You can set no-go and no-mop zones to keep the vacuum cleaner away from priceless vases and prevent it from mopping things you don't want it to. You can set custom cleaning settings for different areas of the room, in case you want it to deep clean the kitchen, but only need a light clean in the hallway. You can individually set the mopping and suction strength as well to minimize noise or prolong battery life. The S5 Max and the S7 Plus also both support multi-room or multi-level mopping. So instead of being lazy like me and just buying a second robot for the top floor, you could pick it up and carry it to another level of your house and it will know what room it's in. I was able to add the S7 Plus to Home Assistant really easily. I just added the Xiaomi Mio integration, entered my Roborock credentials, and chose the European server as I'm located in the UK. Pick your cleaner from the list and it will add it as a normal Home Assistant device. The S7 Plus adds a few extra entities when compared to the S5 Max. The most useful of these for me was the water shortage sensor. This changes state when the water tank is empty, and I've been able to use this to create an automation to send me a notification to remind me to fill it up when it's needed. I have to say again, the S7 Plus really is the most amazing home automation product that I've ever used. There is some seriously clever engineering in this thing. I feel like it's been made by NASA level scientists who are easily smart enough to create Mars rovers. Is it better than the S5 Max? Yes, it is. But, and it's a really big but, you have to realize that the S7 Plus with its optional dustbin emptier thing costs almost $1,000 US, which is twice as much as the S5 Max. It's definitely not twice as good. I recommend both of these vacuum cleaners, and if you have an S5 Max, then I don't think you need to upgrade just for the sake of it anytime soon. When I first started this YouTube channel, I set a very specific goal for myself. I said that I would know that I've made it as a YouTuber if a company like Roborock sent me a robot vacuum cleaner to review on my channel. After 9 months, that literally happened. Setting and achieving goals is awesome, I highly recommend it. Like I said, I don't normally do sponsored product reviews on this channel, but I believe in these Roborock devices so much that I just felt like I had to do it this time. Normally my videos are about how to automate your home using Home Assistant, like these ones here. If this is the kind of thing that you're interested in, then I urge you to click the subscribe button so that you can see when I release a new video, and then together we can make your home smarter.